quite good to see all of you after post-lunch session. For 3 days I am sitting as a participant, and for after 3 days I got opportunity to stand on podium. Thank you Akansha, and thank you Vinod sir for giving me this opportunity. So this is not my data actually, this is just a physiological concept behind this. As I am not working as a chronobiologist in a field of chronomedicine, I am basically working in diabetes. So my MD thesis is on diabetes and hyperuricemia. That is mainly based on relationship of insulin resistance with the hyperuricemia. So this studies review article that I have done with Professor Verma, and we are just concluding all of the facts and the physiological basis behind this. There are some, so I am not going to get present any data regarding this. I am just trying to just you people make aware about the mechanism running behind this, because in field of physiology we are got quite stuck behind the mechanism, and just in 3 years of residency we got habit of knowing about the mechanism of all those things. So uric acid, first I introduce what's uric acid actually. So uric acid is a product produced during metabolism of nucleotide and adenosine triphosphate, and it contains the final product of human purine metabolism. So mostly uric acid is got related with the gouty arthritis most commonly. But uric acid is not only as a marker of a gouty arthritis or its cause inflammation, but also act as an antioxidant and a pro-inflammatory marker in the patients of the metabolic syndrome. Because the whole story of metabolic syndrome is running with insulin resistance actually. So the metabolic syndrome is just got developed with obesity, overweight, increasing triglyceride level, disturbed waist-hip ratio, and increased blood pressure, both systolic or diastolic, or any one of them, dyslipidemia, and as well as increasing fasting plasma glucose level, generalized HbA1c, and all those things. So as the patient got suffering from the metabolic syndrome, that means there is increased level of fat in the adipocytes, and adipocytes got overloaded with the fat level, and that will lead into a necrosis. Necrosis means there is a lack of oxygen supply, and there is a release of the cytokines, inflammatory markers like IL-1, IL-6, and the TNF-alpha. And these all lead to develop a disruption in a insulin signaling pathway, that is AMP kinase activated protein kinase pathway. And second thing is also causing endothelial dysfunction. So we found that uric acid got implicated with arterial blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disorders, and chronic renal disorders. So in early times, uric acid is just got only related with a gouty arthritis, patients having joint symptoms. But nowadays, uric acid is prevailing as one of the key factors connected with metabolic syndrome. So as I have earlier told, the whole cascade, the whole story is running with metabolic syndrome. So the exogenous or endogenous, both pathways are possible, increasing the xanthine level and increasing the uric acid. So this causes all the, I think I am audible without mic also. So this also causes the coronary artery disease, hypertension, heart failure, arterial fibrillation, insulin resistance, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and the metabolic syndrome. And the mechanism running behind this is the oxidative stress, increase of reactive oxygen species, inflammation, endothelial dysfunction, RAS system activation, and the glycogenesis. So in studies, this was found that there is a diurnal rhythm of uric acid. It's higher during the morning hours and it's lesser in the evening hours. So what's the mechanism operating behind this? Why the uric acid level is higher in morning hours and lesser in the evening time? This is the graph showing the level of uric acid. So it can clearly see that during the morning hours, level of uric acid is quite high. It's around 400 micromole per liter. This is circadian regulation, circadian data of some hormones and the level of those hormones. So we can see that, and as well earlier discussed in a previous talk in this school, cortisol levels are high in the morning, testosterone level is also high in the morning. Growth hormone level is increases in midnight, in late stages of the sleep. It increases with fasting as well as exercise, but the good sleep is very important for the growth hormone release. And insulin levels are also higher in the evening. So it's also get related with less insulin levels are higher just to maintain the normal glycemic level. This is not because of the we have enough insulin secretion in the evening, so we have to take a large amount of meal actually. It's mainly insulin sensitivity get decreases in the evening, so there is a increase of more insulin at evening time. So it's quite good to have light dinner. Uric acid level found a negative correlation between the levels of endogenous melatonin secretion and the uric acid. So the endogenous melatonin secretion increases during the evening time, and the whole system is getting in a phase of catabolism. So that lead to increase in the level of uric acid slowly in the morning. So there is a positive correlation with the level of cortisol, and metabolic syndrome also characterized by the hyperactivity of hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, and it also leads to a functional hypocortisolism. Uric acid has linear correlation with free T3 and free T4 level. Free T3 and T4 level means that T3 or T4 that's not bounded with albumin. Actually, normal T3, T4 levels are not quite measurable. They are measurable, but not telling the active state of thyroid. It may be possible some subjects having normal thyroid level but have a symptom of hypothyroidism. So in this case, we need to know about the free T3 and the T4 levels. They are much accurate parameters that telling what amount of active thyroid hormone. And it's not correlated with the TSH. Why this is happening? This is happening just because of that. The effect of catabolism or anabolism is completely depending with the T3 and T4. TSH is just a key factor running behind the level of T3 and T4. So it's not directly acting on that. So the conclusion of this is that catabolic hormones have a positive correlation with the serum uric acid, and the hormones which decreases basal metabolism has negative correlation with the serum uric acid levels. So during the night time there is a decrease in a BMR, and ultimately the catabolism state, that means the generation of protein goes down, increases, and especially mainly the animal proteins. That's more important. It's not so much with the vegetable sources of protein. So it increases in the morning time. So the paper got published. This is a diagram variation of the uric acid, its correlation with certain hormones, with Professor Verma as a corresponding author. So thank you. Any questions?
So this, Dr.
Yes.
Uric acid was measured in serum?
Yes, uric acid. Actually, uric acid, this is the first thing, this is the review. But the uric acid levels are usually measured in the serum as well as in urine also. But in cases of medical treatment in dealing with the human studies, we mostly prefer serum uric acid level. Uric estimation of the uric acid level is not a method of our concern, is not important for us. We prefer only serum uric acid level, and in cases of patient treatment and diagnosis, we always prefer serum uric acid level, especially fasting. It's just because of that the dietary pattern and the what quality of sleep and all those things happening in metabolism get not affected with serum uric acid level. So fasting sample is used.
The graphs you showed is just serum.
Yes, serum use serum.
While otherwise
No, it's not accurate. We always prefer serum uric acid level, and it completely goes. So usually in patient care we only take the morning sample. But for this study, those persons who are doing this study, they taking the multiple levels during the daytime. Yes.
the correlation between the hormones and uric acid is same for very old population and primitively.
No, the data that data got changed, and the uric acid levels are not affected mainly by age actually. They are mainly affected by the dietary pattern of the subject, and as I told, the basic behind this is the weight, adiposity. Those are more important things. Yes.
Which correlation test has been used? It is it linear regression or it is Pearson correlation test?
This is done on the basis of the Pearson correlation.
Pearson correlation.